The cafeteria of Nova Station Academy was always loud during lunch. Hundreds of human and alien students sat together, talking, laughing, and trading food packets. But one table stayed quiet every single day. At that table sat Lyra, a small alien girl with soft purple skin and pointed ears. She always wore the same pink hoodie. She always kept her head down, and she always carried the same blue lunchbox, never opened. Most students ignored her. Some whispered about her. A few even laughed at her behind her back. But nobody ever talked to her. Nobody except Sergeant Marcus Hale. Marcus was a human veteran of the Great Galactic War. Now he worked as a security officer at the academy. He wore heavy armor because he felt unsafe without it. Even years after the war, Marcus still woke up at night with shaking hands and a racing heart. Sometimes he heard old battle voices in his head. Today, like many days, Marcus sat alone with his food tray. He looked tired, with dark lines under his eyes. His armor plates were scratched from missions long finished but never forgotten. But something about Lyra always pulled his attention. She reminded him of the children he saw during the war, lost, afraid, carrying too much pain for their small bodies. Marcus watched her quietly. She sat alone again. Her shoulders were tight, like she wanted to disappear. The cafeteria noise felt louder around her, almost pushing her down. But today was different. Today, Lyra looked worse. Her hands shook slightly as she touched the lunchbox. Her eyes looked red like she had cried recently. She didn't even pretend to open it like she usually did. She simply stared at it like it held something painful. Marcus's chest tightened. He couldn't ignore it anymore. He stood, took his tray, and walked to her table. Students around them stopped whispering. Some looked surprised. Others smirked. "A human veteran talking to that alien girl?" someone muttered. Marcus reached her table and sat across from her. "Hey," he said softly. "You're Lyra, right?" Lyra froze. Her eyes widened. She looked at him like a frightened animal ready to run. She didn't answer. She only nodded once. Marcus tried again, his voice kind. "Are you okay?" Lyra lowered her head. Her hair covered most of her face. She hugged the lunchbox like a shield. "I'm fine," she whispered. But her voice was broken. It shook like a thin string ready to snap. Marcus had heard that tone before, in soldiers who were one breath away from falling apart. He slowly placed his tray down. "Can I sit here?" Another small nod. She didn't look at him. Marcus waited. He didn't want to scare her. He just wanted her to know she wasn't alone. But before he could speak again, 3 students walked by, 2 boys and a girl. They stopped behind Lyra. Marcus felt trouble before they even opened their mouths. "Still not eating, alien?" one boy said. "Maybe her species doesn't need food. Maybe they eat lies and betrayal." Lyra shrank. Her shoulders curled inward. Marcus stood immediately. "That's enough," he said, voice deep and steady. The students backed up a little. Even though Marcus wasn't angry, his presence carried the weight of a man who had seen war and survived it. "We were just joking," the girl said nervously. "Walk away," Marcus said. They left quickly. Lyra didn't look up. A small tear landed on the table, almost silent. Marcus sat down again. "Lyra," he said softly, "I saw what happened. You don't deserve that." She wiped her face fast, pretending she wasn't crying. "It's okay," she whispered. "I'm used to it." Those words stabbed Marcus. No child should say something like that.
He looked at her lunchbox, the same one she kept closed every day. Something inside him told him this wasn't just about bullying. "Lyra," he asked gently, "why don't you ever open your lunchbox?" Her breath caught in her throat. Her hands tightened around it. Please don't," she whispered. "Don't open it." Her voice was filled with fear, not from Marcus, but from whatever was inside. Marcus leaned closer. "I won't hurt you," he said, "but I need to know if you're okay." Lyra slowly pushed the lunchbox toward him with shaking hands. Marcus hesitated. Something deep inside him warned this moment mattered. He placed his hand on the lid. Lyra whispered, "Please don't cry." Marcus frowned, confused. Why would he cry? He opened the lunchbox, and the moment he looked inside, Marcus felt his entire heart break. His breath stopped, his eyes blurred, and for the first time in many years, the hardened human veteran felt tears rise in his eyes.
Marcus moved fast through the academy hallway, his armored boots striking the floor with sharp metallic echoes. His mind raced with questions. Who was trying to access Lyra's files? Why now? And why did it feel like someone was watching every step he took? He tapped the side of his helmet. "Command, this is Officer Hale. Who triggered the file access alert?" A cold, robotic voice replied, "Source unknown. The system detected a backdoor attempt. Someone tried to override Level 3 security." Level 3 security was no joke. Only high-ranking staff could get through that level. Marcus felt a chill. "Lock it down. Notify me immediately if they try again." He turned the corner toward the security office. But halfway down the hall, he heard footsteps behind him. Slow, steady, almost matching his pace. Marcus didn't turn. He kept walking, listening carefully. The steps followed. Whoever it was wasn't trying to hide. When he reached the security door, he finally turned his head slightly. A tall man stood at the far end of the hall, hands behind his back, watching him. His uniform was clean, too clean, white and gold, no dust, no wrinkles, no age. His eyes were sharp like cold metal. Marcus recognized him. Officer Varric, one of the academy supervisors, quiet, strict, always observing. Varric nodded politely. "Sergeant Hale." I gave a slow nod back. "Supervisor." Varric tilted his head in a way that didn't feel human at all. "You seem troubled." "Busy day," Marcus said. Varric's gaze didn't move. "I saw you speaking with the Velarin girl." Marcus stiffened. "Her name is Lyra." "Names do not matter. Her species has a complicated history with humans." Marcus didn't blink. History based on lies. Varric smiled faintly, but there was no warmth in it. "Be careful what you say, Sergeant. Some wounds are better left closed." Marcus stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Were you the one trying to access her files?" Varric raised an eyebrow. "Why would you think that?" Marcus didn't answer. He didn't need to. The way Varric stood, the calm confidence, the emotionless tone, the too careful words, all of it felt wrong, very wrong. Varric stepped toward him, his voice dropping. "Some students do not belong here. They bring danger, chaos, unwanted attention." Marcus clenched his jaw. "She's just a child. Children grow, and sometimes they grow into the same monsters their parents were." For the first time in years, Marcus felt something old rising inside him. Anger, real anger. But before he could respond, Varric stepped aside. "Enjoy your shift, Sergeant." Then he turned and walked away silently. Marcus watched him disappear around the corner. The hallway suddenly felt colder. He entered the security room and locked the door behind him.
Inside, screens covered the walls. Camera feeds, student logs, restricted files, communication alerts. Marcus sat at the main console and pulled up Lyra's profile. Her picture showed a small, frightened girl. No family, no guardians, no home planet listed. Only survivor of Outpost 42 incident. Marcus knew that place. He had fought there. The battle was brutal, one of the worst. Many civilians had died, and humans blamed the Velaran species for the attack. But something else bothered Marcus. The record showed a red warning tag. Information classified, access limited. He tried to open it. Access denied, clearance level too low. Marcus frowned. Too low? I was granted Class B wartime clearance. He tried again, this time using his old military ID code. The system clicked. A hidden file opened. Inside was a report written years ago by a human intelligence officer. Marcus read quickly. Velaran civilians attempted evacuation. Their leaders sent distress signals to humans. The attack was triggered by rogue human operatives disguised as Velaran soldiers. Marcus felt his blood run cold. Humans caused the attack. Humans caused the deaths. Humans killed Lyra's parents. It was all covered up. And someone in this academy didn't want that truth revealed. A sudden beat made Marcus jump. New alert. Unauthorized individual detected near the student dormitory. Target, Velaran girl, Lyra. His heart dropped. He slammed the console shut and ran out of the room. He sprinted through the hallways, ignoring teachers, ignoring students, ignoring everything except the red warning flashing in his helmet. He turned a corner and saw the dorm hallway empty, too empty. A door stood wide open, Lyra's door. Marcus rushed inside. The room was small, quiet, and cold. The blanket on her bed was thrown to the side. Her shoes were still on the floor. Her lunchbox sat on the table. But Lyra was gone, and the window at the far end was open. Marcus stepped forward and saw something that made his heart freeze. On the floor, near the window, was a white glove. A glove from an academy supervisor uniform. Marcus whispered, "Varric." He wasn't just watching Lyra. He had taken her. And the war Marcus thought was over was only beginning again. Marcus climbed through the open dorm window and dropped onto the metal walkway outside. Cold air hit his face. The walkway circled around the academy building, usually quiet during class hours, but now it carried faint echoes of footsteps far ahead. Fast footsteps, running. Marcus didn't hesitate. He sprinted down the walkway, armor plates clanking in rhythm with his heartbeat. His mind burned with one name, Varric. He knew the man was dangerous the moment he looked into his eyes. Too calm, too empty. A man hiding something deep. A man who didn't fear consequences. The walkway forked into two directions. Marcus stopped, listening. His training sharpened his senses. A soft metallic clatter echoed from the left path. He ran left. The walkway twisted down toward the old storage deck, an area students rarely visited. The place was half abandoned, filled with crates, broken drones, and dim lights flickering like dying stars. A perfect place to hide someone. Marcus slowed his footsteps and moved quietly. His breathing was steady now, soldier mode awake. He scanned every shadow, every corner. Then he heard it. A small, shaky voice. "Please, let me go." Lyra. Marcus' heart kicked hard against his chest. He moved fast but silent, keeping behind metal racks until he reached a large open area. Light from a broken ceiling lamp streamed down in a thin beam. And in the center of that light stood Lyra. Her hands were trembling. Her hoodie was pulled by someone behind her, forcing her to stay still. Marcus stepped out from behind the crates. "Let her go," he said, voice cold. Varric stood behind Lyra, one hand gripping her shoulder tightly. His other hand held a small control pad glowing with red signals. He smirked slightly. Sergeant Hale, always ready to be a hero. Marcus kept his hands relaxed, but his eyes never left Varric's. Step away from her, Marcus said. Or what? You'll shoot me in front of a child. I don't need a weapon, Marcus replied. You know that. Varric chuckled. It was the kind of laugh that had no joy, only cruelty. You don't understand, Hale. This girl is a problem, a loose thread from the war. Some threads must be cut before they unravel the whole story. Marcus felt the anger rise inside him. She's just a child. And so did many humans, Varric snapped. Velerans killed my brother, my parents, my entire district. Marcus shook his head slowly. You read the classified reports. You know who caused that attack. Humans did. Varric's jaw tightened. It was easier to blame them. So you punish a child for lies your leaders created? Varric pushed Lyra forward a little, making her gasp. She shouldn't exist. Her presence invites too many questions, questions that will tear open the past. Marcus stepped one step forward. Then let the truth tear it open. Varric raised the control pad. With a click, a small drone behind him activated, its red lights blinking aggressively. Take another step and the drone will stun her. She'll be unconscious in seconds. After that, she'll disappear. Lyra's eyes filled with fear. Marcus, please. Her voice broke something inside him. Marcus raised his hand slowly. All right, you win. Just let her go. Varric watched him carefully. Drop your armor weapon. Marcus slowly unclipped the magnetic baton from his waist and placed it on the floor. He stepped back. Varric nodded with satisfaction. Good soldier, always following rules. But Marcus wasn't looking at Varric anymore. He was looking at the drone. To anyone else, the drone looked dangerous, but to Marcus, it looked old. Model 7C.
Marcus grabbed Lyra's hand and pulled her into the darkness of the storage deck. Red alarms flashed across the walls. Loud metallic footsteps echoed through the hallways above them. The whole academy believed he had kidnapped her, and Varric had planned it perfectly. Marcus moved fast, weaving between old storage crates and abandoned repair stations. Lyra stayed close, trying to match his steps, her small breaths sharp and quick. "Marcus," she whispered, "they think you're the bad guy." "I don't care what they think. I'm getting you out of here alive." They reached the back door of the storage deck, but it was locked with a red security seal. Marcus tapped on the panel, trying to override it. Access denied. He tried again with his military code. Clearance invalid. He growled under his breath. They wiped my codes. Suddenly, voices echoed from the walkway above. "He went this way. Check every exit. Shoot if he resists." Marcus felt Lyra shake with fear. She tugged his arm. "We can't fight all of them." "I know," Marcus whispered. He scanned the room for another exit and saw a ventilation shaft high up on the wall. It was narrow, dusty, and old. Perfect. Marcus knelt down. "Climb on my shoulders." Lyra hesitated. "Are you sure? Your armor is heavy." I tried to smile. "Don't worry. I've carried bigger things in the war." She climbed onto his shoulders. Marcus stood, lifting her easily. She pushed the vent cover open. It clanged quietly. They both froze. Footsteps were getting closer. "Hurry," Marcus whispered. Lyra pulled herself inside, then reached down for Marcus. He grabbed the edge of the vent and pulled himself up with a grunt. The shaft was tight, squeezing his armor, but he pushed through until he slid inside beside her. Lyra closed the cover behind them, just as flashlight beams swept across the floor below. "Search everything," a guard officer barked. "They're still in here." Marcus put a finger to his lips. Lyra nodded silently. They crawled through the dark shaft. Dust floated in the air, making Lyra cough softly.
Marcus kept his breathing slow, controlling it like he had learned on battlefield missions. Every inch forward mattered. After several minutes, they reached a fork in the vent. Marcus checked his memory of the academy layout. The right path led toward the hangar section, the only place with ships. They needed a ship. He whispered, "This way," and pointed right. They crawled for a long time until Lyra whispered, "Marcus, why would Varric lie? Why would he want to hurt me? I never did anything." "It's not about you," he said. "It's about the truth. People like Varric don't want the truth to come out. And you are living proof that the story they told about your people is a lie." Lyra blinked, confused. "But why lie at all?" Marcus sighed. Memories of burning cities, screaming soldiers, and broken families flashed in his mind. "Sometimes," he said quietly, "people would rather blame someone else than face their own mistakes. And during the war, humans needed a villain." Lyra lowered her head. "So they chose us." Marcus nodded. "And I'm going to fix that. I promise." Lyra stared at him for a moment. Her eyes softened. "You are the only one who ever believed me." Marcus placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You're not alone anymore." Before she could reply, a loud metallic bang echoed through the vent. Marcus froze. Flashlights glowed behind them. "They're in the ventilation system!" A guard shouted. "Block all exits!" Marcus pulled Lyra forward. "Move, now!" They raced through the vent, their hands scraping metal. The noise behind them grew louder. Guards were opening vents, lifting grates, chasing them. Up ahead, the vent sloped downward and ended in a large grate overlooking a hallway. He kicked it open. They dropped down into the hallway. For a moment, everything was silent. Then the academy alarm changed tone. "All security units, report Sergeant Hale located in Sector 3. Approach with caution. He is considered dangerous." Lyra grabbed his arm. "Marcus, they're everywhere!" He scanned the hallway, thinking fast. Then he saw a door labeled Hangar Access, Authorized Staff Only. That was their only chance. He ran to it, tried the panel, locked. But Marcus wasn't gentle this time. He slammed his armored fist into the control panel. Sparks flew. The door hissed open slowly. Behind them, guards turned the corner. "There! Don't let them escape!" Marcus pushed Lyra through the opening just as blaster fire shot past them. He entered after her and slammed the door shut. They ran into the hangar, a huge open space filled with small shuttle ships. Lyra gasped, "Are we stealing a ship?" Marcus looked at her and said the only thing that mattered. "We're surviving." The door cracked open. Blasters powered up. And the chase reached its breaking point.